No cameras were supposed to be rolling when Wang turned to Shen Yue with that look. The same look fans have written stories about for years and whispered, "Let's finally tell them." What happened next was unscripted, raw, and completely real. Under soft lights in a quiet corner of the studio, the couple sat down, side by side, and addressed the world. Their voices shook, their hands never let go, and when Shen Yue finally said, "Thank you for never giving up on us," the entire crew froze in stunned silence. What started as a quiet moment turned into a global message, one fans had waited years to hear. The scene was soft, bathed in the fading sunlight of the rooftop garden where Wang and Shen Yue had gathered with a select handful of staff. There were no flashing cameras, no microphones, and no makeup artists fluttering nearby. Just the wind, the sound of distant traffic, and two of Asia's most beloved stars finally sitting together without pressure for the first time in what felt like ages. Dylan leaned forward, arms resting on his knees, a soft smile forming as he looked at Shen Yue across the small round table. Shen Yue, dressed casually in a light cream blouse and jeans, mirrored the expression, but her eyes carried something heavier, something deeply emotional that only those who truly knew them could recognize. They had been through storms, career storms, emotional waves, and tabloid typhoons. Every glance, every movement between them over the years had been dissected by fans and press alike. Yet here, they were just two people, two humans who had lived through extraordinary circumstances together. And it was in this peaceful setting that the topic turned to their fans. Dylan cleared his throat. "You know, I never expected people to hold on for this long," he said quietly, almost as if unsure he should be saying it aloud. "I thought by now everyone would have moved on." Shen Yue shook her head slowly, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. "They didn't move on because they believed in something we never even promised them." "Do you think we let them down?" Dylan asked suddenly, his voice barely above a whisper. There was a long pause before she answered. "I think we gave them hope when we weren't even sure about our own paths. And that's complicated." That word, complicated, lingered in the air between them like a ghost. It held the weight of shared scripts, long hours, unspoken feelings, unfinished texts, private smiles behind the cameras, and everything they could never say publicly. But then, something shifted. A soft buzzing came from Dylan's phone. He checked it, smirked slightly, and showed the screen to Shen Yue. It was a fan's message, a throwback fan edit of their old drama scene with a caption. "It's 2025, and we still believe in Dylan and Shen." Shen Yue's face softened. "They're still making those?"
"Hundreds," he replied.
"Thousands even." She was silent for a moment, then said, "Maybe it's time we said something. Not to stir anything. Just to say thank you." That was the turning point. What began as a casual rooftop conversation turned into a decision that neither of them took lightly. Over the next few hours, they huddled with their management and crafted a message, a real one. One that wasn't filtered through PR or buried beneath vague emojis and mysterious captions. This would be their voice.
Raw.
Honest.
Human.
They each wrote a paragraph. Dylan went first. "To everyone who's walked this journey with us, through episodes, reruns, red carpets, awkward interviews, and vanishing rumors, thank you. Not for the support alone, but for believing in something unspoken. You've taught us more about faith than we ever expected to learn from fans. I'm still learning, and I hope that, wherever we go from here, you'll know we carry that faith with us." Shen Yue's message followed, written slowly, with pauses as she reread each sentence over and over before letting it go. Sometimes silence says more than words. But you, our fans, never stopped hearing us. You saw things we couldn't say, and still chose to stay. That kind of loyalty doesn't happen in this world anymore. And while we may never give you a perfect ending, we promise to always be real with you. Thank you for never giving up on two imperfect people who never quite knew what they meant to each other until now. Their manager suggested publishing it through a press release. "No," Dylan said firmly.
"Video.
Just us. No background music. No edits. Just truth." They recorded it the next morning, sitting side by side in the same rooftop garden, the city skyline behind them. No scripted lines. No flashy aesthetics. Just two souls speaking from the heart. Within 20 minutes of uploading, the video trended in over 14 countries. By the end of the day, it had 8.2 million views, 200K plus comments, and millions of fans crying, reacting, and sharing their own stories of belief and emotional connection. But for Dylan and Shen Yue, it wasn't about the numbers. It was about finally acknowledging the heartbeat that had kept them alive in the eyes of the public, their fans. And for the first time in years, the tension in their shoulders seemed to release. Shen Yue leaned into Dylan slightly after the cameras stopped rolling. "You know," she said with a small laugh, "this might be the realest thing we've ever done." He looked at her and smiled.
No.
"The realest thing was choosing to sit here, next to you, even when everything else told me not to." She didn't respond with words. Instead, she reached out, took his hand, and for the next few moments, they simply sat there. No rush. No expectations.
Just peace.
And the world, watching from behind their screens, knew that something had changed. The day after the video went viral, the energy on set was different. For months, their drama shoot had felt like walking on a tightrope, with assistants and co-stars treading carefully around them, unsure of the silence between Dylan and Shen Yue. But now, something subtle had shifted. The quiet wasn't cold anymore. It was thoughtful, intentional, warm even. Crew members whispered behind lighting rigs. Makeup artists dared to smile at them both in the same sentence. The tension that had once weighed down every second of production was slowly lifting, and it was all because of that one video. But what fans didn't know, what even the director didn't know, was that the video wasn't just about thanking supporters. It had unlocked something far more personal, something Dylan and Shen Yue had both been keeping hidden for too long. That evening, after a long shoot under the desert sun, Dylan found Shen Yue sitting alone near the edge of the studio lot, her feet dangling just over the edge of a wooden ramp. Her hair was tied back, face still glowing from the stage lights, but there was a different glow now, softer, not for the camera. He sat beside her without asking. For a few minutes, they said nothing. Just listened to the hum of distant traffic and the clanking of metal props being packed away. "I thought you'd leave after the video," she said quietly. He looked at her, puzzled. "Why?" "Because it was the closure," she replied. "The final message. The thing fans always wanted to hear." Dylan's brows furrowed. "It wasn't closure for me." Shen Yue turned to face him fully. "Then what was it?" He stared ahead, then whispered. "It was the beginning. At least for me." Her breath caught. She hadn't expected that. Not after all this time. Not after the years of miscommunication, of media noise, of pushing each other away when it got too real. "You still feel that way?" she asked. He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he pulled out his phone and tapped it a few times. Then he handed it to her. On the screen was a fan comment under their video. It read, "We always knew. Even when they said nothing. Even when they walked away."